Isn't it funny whenever you're hiking when it comes to dressing? Because
Yeah.
especially where you are now, where I am, it's not so hard. If I hike, it's pull over, whatever. I can always shed it. But for you, you start off and it's like 30 below zero because you're in the Arctic Circle, and then you get a mile and a half in, you got to start getting rid of layers,
Yes.
and then it gets cold really damn fast.
Yes. Yeah. So I didn't have to do it the last couple days. I layered it because it was like, I don't know, mid-20s air temp, and then the wind chill. I'm up in the bluff. I'm up, the elevation's a little higher. I mean, it's in the probably teens, if not single digits. But I had a nice layer, like a dry fit shirt, t-shirt, and then like a long sleeve shirt, and then a sweatshirt, and then a lightweight, like a puffy North Face coat.
Right.
Pants are fine, whatever. Long underwear and a pair of like hiking pants and a sock hat. And once I get going, it's like, this is good. I like it. Actually, I need some new gloves though. The ones I have are just cheap, lame gloves. They're not
Right.
They're just lame. So
You gotta
otherwise,
start
I got
peeling off layers.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to the last couple days because I was right on where I should be. I almost did yesterday, but I'm like, it's not that bad. Plus, you just start sweating, you start getting chilly. So I'm like, well, let's just tough it out here. It's fine. You only get about a mile left, so you're fine.
All right.
We'll survive.
A little sweat never hurt anybody.
No, absolutely not. You know what? Who's sweating? Who else is sweating? A lot of college football coaches. Some NFL coaches too, by the way. But we just talk college football because this is Health We Know podcast. That's Chris. I'm Brian. That's what we do. We talk college football. Did we get any firings over the weekend?
No, I'm kind of disappointed.
I don't think we did. I was like, this is
Right.
what happened.
I'm kind of disappointed. Yeah, I don't really know what to do. My list is like sitting up here, and it's like the Pablo Escobar meme when he's sitting on the swing and there's no one around, just waiting for a coach to be fired. That was me this weekend, just kind of waiting around for a coach to be fired.
I mean, obviously there's more to come, but
yes,
we've been getting one or two every weekend for several weeks now, so
we're spoiled, is what it is.
Kind of it's kind of a letdown.
The Clemson beat Florida State, and I figured Norvell would have been the next one on the block. But
that would have made sense.
Nope.
Not yet. No. Well, let's get into it, I guess, huh? Shall we? So this is episode 12.1, Health We Know podcast. Again, that's Chris. I'm Brian, and we're going to start out with, I don't know, like there's not a lot to talk about this USC Northwestern game. USC kind of handled them pretty good after that second half, or after the first half especially. One thing I'll say is that, did you see USC's trick play with their punter?
I did not. I didn't get to see hardly any of this game. I want to try to watch some. I didn't get to see any of it. So
that's notable because the punter, I say punter, comes out wearing number 80. And it turns out that's their backup quarterback, who usually wears number 7 or whatever it is. It's Brock Ewert's kid, or no, it's Brock Ewert's nephew, I think it would be, actually. So he comes in wearing a different number than he usually does. Now, apparently they did put that in the program or whatever, the pregame notes, that he changed numbers, but apparently Northwestern didn't catch that because they had a beautiful, like he threw a dart. Like, that ain't no punter. Sure enough, it ain't. It was really a beautiful throw. And that was there. I think they were about tied, or Northwestern maybe beat up 14-7. I forget where they were. So it was early on. They did this. It's like, you brought this play out against Northwestern? Like, you'd think you'd say that for Oregon or somewhere else, but not whatever. I guess it propelled them to a win.
Yeah, we kind of nailed this one a little bit, on our picks, and that's going to be a theme, Delaney. How we nailed these games on our picks. Stay tuned.
So, do you want to just do it all at the end? Do you want to unfold these as we go? At the end.
I'll give teasers. I'll foreshadow just a little bit to keep the suspense going. Northwestern 0-6 versus USC. Didn't realize that. But I guess they've, USC's never played Big Ten, obviously, but last time they played before now was like 1996 or something like that. So it had been a while.
Sounds about right.
But one thing was something I didn't realize they were this good. They're only a one win away from a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So they need either Michigan, who I guess they play next week, and then Minnesota, then Illinois. They got to find one win in those three to be bowl eligible. So
hell, who knows? I hope not. I'm going to that game this weekend. It's at
Oh, well,
Wrigley.
hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not this
Yeah,
weekend then.
I know. Yeah, it's my 50th birthday. I don't want to see
Yeah.
them take an L to Northwestern at Wrigley. My first time at Wrigley.
They talk about
That'd be
all-time
a
shitty
shitty
birthday
weekend. Oh
presents.
shit, Jesus! All right, just give me AIDS too later.
Yeah.
Right?
You're in Chicago. Anything could happen.
Yes, that's
Just
true.
saying.
Right,
So
absolutely right. We're gonna go help the ICE folks. I digress. Yeah, so that's about that game. That was a Friday game. I watched just a little bit here and there. Not a hell of a lot of that one. Ohio State Purdue, not much to talk about there. Purdue goes up 3-0 after a 70-yard drive to kick off the game, and then Ohio State proceeds to score 24 unanswered, 24-3 at half, and then basically Ohio State just cruises. Purdue gets the kind of a who cares touchdown late in that. Um, Ohio State just did what they did, beat the teams in front of you and, soundly. And Stan was good again. Made a couple of errors. He had a bad interception in the end zone, but, he's throwing darts everywhere. The only thing notable about this game is that, and I never heard why, but Carnell Tate didn't play this game at all. And at the halftime interview, Ryan Day was sort of coy with his answer about why he wasn't playing, if he was going to play the second half, because he was dressed for the whole game. He just didn't have his helmet, and he's walking around like seemingly not hurting or anything. So, I don't know.
that's
He
interesting.
was, yeah. So Tate or Day was trying to like find the words to say why he wasn't playing. He was just being like, it's almost like it caught him off guard when the reporter asked him, because he didn't really know how to answer it without being like, well,
you're going to notice him not out there.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's a first round draft pick.
Right. He don't play and he's walking around, hanging out on the
Yes.
sideline. You're going to ask that question. You got to now.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. That's the difference between Ryan Day and one Lane Kiffin. Do you think Lane Kiffin would answer that question straight ahead?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he'd be like, yeah, he didn't study for his test or whatever. Like he's suspended.
He was out drinking, got kicked out of the bar. He's got to pay the price. I mean, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So,
you see him run the stairs for next week, whatever it is. I'm not saying that's what Tate did, but like, it didn't seem to be a tough injury by any way. And I don't think he even said the word injury. He just said he saw something in pregame, couldn't get going or something. I forget what he said, but it just didn't make sense, other than like there was some sort of disciplinary thing, maybe, perhaps.
Which is exactly what it is. Just say it, dude.
Just
people appreciate that so much more
right.
than being a politician and just beating around the bush about what's going on with the team. You ain't got to say everything. You could be transparent enough to give the people, give them an explanation. Listen, he got in some trouble. He's being disciplined. He'll be back next week. He's working it off. He's all good. He's sorry.
Right.
And that's it. You don't have to say a word about what he did. Yeah.
No, exactly. He's not arrested or anything like that. No. Seriously, you skip a class, who cares?
Right.
Whatever it is, or just say he's got a sore back. Just lie about it. Whatever.
Right.
You got to be a better liar, I guess, for Ryan Day. But here's a game that ended up, I gather, way freaking wrong on every bit of our picks there. That's Indiana, Penn State. Second ranked Indiana travels to Penn State. Penn State, that was the 0-6 now. Penn State was the first team in college football history to start as a top 5 team and lose 6 straight. That's pretty impressive for them. But I tell you what, Penn State had them on the ropes late. And if not for one of the best catches I've ever seen in my entire life by the Indiana wide receiver.
It's up
there. Both of them, actually, it's overshadowed by the catch that got him down in the red zone.
Right.
Just a great Omar Cooper, like just an incredible catch, double toe tap basically. Late Penn State goes, they get an interception, they go up 24-20, and then Indiana's got plenty of time, right? That's the problem. They had plenty of time, and Penn State gets a sack on the 1st and 10 on that last Indiana drive. So it's okay, it's 2nd and 17. Well, Indiana proceeds to just fire darts. Mendoza fires darts down the field, and Penn State was sending pressure over and over and over again. They just couldn't quite get home on that drive after that first time. But it just shows Indiana's like mortal a little bit, I think, from what I've seen. And I think part of that is that, this is just my best estimation, they're on their 3rd left guard. So their first 2 first-string second string Bending. They got a third left guard, and they lost their right tackle during the game as well. So
Right.
they have a great offensive line, maybe a Joe Moore Award winning or at least nominated offensive line. But when you lose, your right tackle and your left guard and whoever else, that's tough because Indiana, as good as they are, they don't have Alabama talent waiting in the wings necessarily. And so when you have a good defensive line like Penn State does with Denai Sutton, uh, um, and the other guys on that line, that's going to be problematic. And Indiana got pressure on like 50% of their dropbacks. So
Right.
that was something that was like, okay, well, Indiana, if they don't get healthy, that could be
That could be a
problematic. Not
problem.
the rest of the year. They play Purdue and someone else I'm blanking on, but when they face, likely Ohio State in the Big Ten title game and any sort of playoff game, that could be problematic for them.
For sure. Three things here on this game. One, you talked about the picks. We were 2-1 in this game.
Okay.
We both picked Indiana win.
Yeah.
We both picked the the over, which we missed on. But then we both took. No, we were
Indiana was
we were,
favored by
yeah.
like 10 or something like that.
It was 15 and a half.
15 and a half. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it was 15 and a half. But we took the over, so we missed. So we were 1-2, 1-2 on it.
Okay.
We picked Indiana. Yeah, 1-2 on there. So that's one. Two, we were talking about punters earlier. 99 for Penn State punter and the kicker. Like we were watching that at work. I was like,
He's a big boy, isn't he?
yeah, I mean he punts and he plays left tackle. I mean he must. He's huge.
No, he's just a punter. He's like 6'6", 280. Like that.
So
you think with that much force you'd be able to kick the ball into the stands if you wanted to.
It should never be an issue. It'd be out of the end zone. Like it should be through the end zone every single kick if you're that
right,
big.
exactly. Whether you'd like to or not, it's just how you're built. It's like a trebuchet.
And then lastly on this, so this morning a friend of mine at work, he's like, does the Indiana and Penn State change your opinion on Indiana? And I'm like, well, not really. They're hurting the offensive line, of course, but it doesn't really do that because I watched Florida, Georgia last week. And what seems to be happening with these teams that have good rosters is they relish the opportunity to ruin something. And you will get their best shot during that game to ruin something. Florida tried to ruin Georgia last Saturday, couldn't get it done, 24-20. Then I watched them we'll talk about it, get curb stomped in Lexington 38-7. Not the same Florida team, right?
No.
Because they wasn't there to ruin something. Penn State was there Saturday to ruin something. So you got Penn State's best shot. And so then surprised me at all. It's a dogfight. Anytime you go to someone else's stadium, it's a dogfight. So just it did. I'm like you though. The offensive line will be problematic, especially against Ohio State, and then you get into playoff play. That'll be a problem for them if they can't protect Mendoza any better. But overall, it didn't change my opinion on. They could still win the whole damn thing. They could.
Sure.
This is just them going to Happy Valley and getting Penn State's best shot to try to ruin their season or try to at least set them back and put a nail on the record. And they couldn't quite get it done, but damn, they were within a couple of inches of doing it.
Less blades of grass. If the grass was cut a little shorter, they might have been all
if
right.
somebody would have mismeasured that end zone and had it at 9.5 yards instead of 10, he's out of bounds.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
So
it's this game of inches, every sport, I guess, but this is particularly true in this game, this particular game here. Indiana, the one thing I'll say is that, when they played Iowa earlier in the year, Iowa was able to get pressure with their front four and cause some havoc and made Indiana's, kind of difficult to move the ball. Penn State was able to do a little bit that as well. Mendoza had a bad pick in this game, but then he, comes back and has a Heisman kind of moment and throwing the ball down the field to Cooper. I agree with you. I don't have a strong change of opinion in Indiana, and unless you find out that they're really going to be missing that tackle for a longer period of time. I think the guard played well, best I could tell, of the limited, points I was watching him in the telecast. But that could be, of course, that's true for anybody. For offensive line's banged up, it might be hard to keep it quarterback clean.
Well,
doesn't matter who you are, right?
They were doing good enough that Penn State thought they had to blitz to get to him.
Yes.
If they're playing if the offensive line's playing bad enough, you're able to get pressure like Iowa with the front four. You don't need to
Yeah.
blitz. You sit back, you
Right.
play coverage, play 8 guys down or 7 guys, and then you know let the front four wreak havoc. Then that's a defensive coordinator's dream right there,
Yeah.
is to be able
Right.
to play zone, play coverage, rally it to it, everything, make them drop the ball off, check down, and rally to the ball and get the stop.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be on defense if you can, but you got to have the defensive line to do it. Penn State
Yeah. You have to have the horses.
couldn't take advantage of it. Now there'll be teams that
Not
might be
quite.
able to, but Penn State couldn't.
Yeah. No, they just could not quite do that. Um, I'll let you kick this one off. A&M travels to Mizzou. This is a game we both picked A&M to win, and I believe we picked them to cover. I don't remember what the over under was, but I gather it was pretty close to where that was.
Yeah,
A&M wins 38-17. Was it? Were we close?
yeah, it was 48.5. We both took the over.
Okay.
Win.
All right. Win. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were 3-0 on this game.
This was, I mean, this obviously says look back at it because hindsight's 2020, but like this seemed like a game that A&M was not going to lose, right? I mean, especially with Prbula out, Mizzou playing a backup quarterback, and A&M's defense is pretty damn good. Their offense is going to be explosive at times, and it was only 14-0 at half, but they were control this whole game, right? There was no like worry about them falling apart, best I could tell. But
Right.
I
Well,
gather you probably saw more than that than I did.
yeah, I watched quite a bit of it. Missouri was fine, and Zoller from Missouri was fine until the fumble going into halftime. It's 7-0. They're they're on their own side of the field. I forget where they were at, but A&M gets pressure, so there's fumbles. Scoop scores 7 points, 14-0, and it's just like I was sitting at home, but you could tell the whole stadium deflated when that play happened.
Sure.
You just knew, okay, that's it, we're done. And then of course A&M comes out and they get rolling in the second half, and then that's it. Once they get up to 3 scores, people are heading for the exit. So
Right.
it was a fun game. I mean, it's amazing the overhit considering how the first half was. Neither offense was
14
very
total
good.
points.
Right.
Look at it.
Yeah. Zoller, he throws for 77 yards. He's 7 of 22. I mean, he never. Yeah, and that's with a decent run game. They ran for 207 yards, so it's not like they
That's
didn't
pretty
move the ball on the
impressive,
ground.
actually. Right.
Yeah, Hardy was good. Missouri defense hung in there. They got stops, and it was just down 7-0. If you're Eli Drinkwitz, you say, hey, you're going to go in down 7-0 half on Saturday. He would have took that in a second, right? And then it just seemed like the fumble, scoop score. It's 14-0, totally deflated. And then second half, they just couldn't. A&M started taking it to a level that Missouri couldn't match anymore. So
Right. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen there. This is a damn good A&M team. If you wanted to tell me that they're the best team in the country, I could see someone making an argument. They've just been really consistent. They're winning where they're supposed to be. That's a pretty good Missouri team. They just thumped the second half too. So we'll see if they can continue. They got some big games left still, including a game with the Longhorns pretty soon. This game I did not see, unfortunately, because YouTube TV and Disney decided they don't want to, have a contract. So LSU Bama, I followed along, but I'm following along on the the box score and Gamecast, which is only so helpful. What did Alabama do to just take control of this game and just strangle LSU? It looks like to me.
Well, they got stops on defense, especially red zone. That's what they did. LSU had four trips in Alabama red zone, 9 points to show for it. There's your ball game right there. There's your ball game.
There.
So neither team run the ball with a damn. Neither team got to 60 yards on the ground.
That's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, Nussmeier had 121 yards passing. So if I told you LSU was going to run for 59 yards and Garrett Nussmeier was going to be 18 of 21 for 121 yards and no touchdowns, you'd be like, oh, Alabama's rolling this game.
Yes, right.
And they kind of they just got stops inside the red zone, and when they had to have it, and made LSU kick field goals. So and LSU defense showed up. This is yet another example of a team showing up to try to ruin or put an L on someone. You're getting LSU's best shot. It just wasn't good enough. They were excellent on defense. going into the game, if you said Bama scores 20, uh, you don't feel
I,
great if you're an Alabama fan,
no, exactly, not at
right?
all. Right,
You know,
exactly.
you're like, oh, we could have lost that. You wouldn't guarantee a loss or a win with 20 points. You would be
No, right.
really, pucker factor 10 if you knew you only scored 20 points in that game. But I picked Alabama to just roll, but LSU defense showed up and they got stops as well. Stop the run is what they did mainly, and
They
so
can't
they
run the
stopped the
ball,
run and got
Bama.
after Ty Simpson. Yep, and just hung in there. They just couldn't get the scores in the red zone, and Alabama defense showed up in the red zone. That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing that obviously that LSU defense can be good when they're putting it all together. Like Jam Miller has just done very little this year. I'm a little surprised by that. 8 carries, 13 yards, long of 7. So that means he had 7 carries for 6 yards the rest of the
I
game. I mean,
wonder. I wonder how his head is after the concussion.
I gather that might be part of it. Yeah, and that's no one else in the Bama offense ran the ball very well either. Um, I see Ryan Williams had a hell of a catch though for a touchdown. That was Ryan Williams kind of play.
Right.
But otherwise, Bama, from what at least follow along and watch the highlights, they look pretty pedestrian offensively, by and large. I mean, they scored 3 points the second half, which is
Right.
kind of what they did against Georgia too. They had struggles. They start out pretty good, and then they run out of steam that second half. So I wonder if that'll catch up to them at some point. Because the team that won't run out of steam is Texas A&M. When those two looks like they're on a path to
No.
fighting each other.
Sitting here right now, and in the 1st of November, I will take A&M to win that game all day long. Right now, as these teams sit, now they could change. Teams morph. Teams go up. Teams go
Right,
down.
some injuries,
But
whatever. But yeah,
right, you don't know what's going to happen. But you put them in a controlled environment on turf. That A&M offense, they're just different. So
yes.
yeah, that's it. Right now, I would take A&M to win that, and we'll predict that, of course, in the future. But yeah,
Hmm.
that right now A&M looks like the best team in the SEC. They
Yeah,
do.
I agree. They're most consistent, right? And Alabama has that bad blemish the first game of the year. Which again, I'm going to say it again. I don't know how they lost to Florida State. I'm
Hell
going to
if
say
we
it
know
every week.
how.
Hell if we know, right? Hell if we know. I mean, that should be even like the Alabama's coaching staff are like, hell, I don't know.
Well, one thing's for sure. Bama fans have no idea. Kalen DeBoer has no idea. Mike Norvell has no
Yeah.
idea.
No, yeah, Mike Norvell doesn't either. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
no one knows how the hell they won that game.
Right. I don't know. They played it at Iowa as a voodoo game. We'll get to that game in a minute. Speaking of Iowa voodoo,
Right.
Georgia takes on Mississippi State. Again, didn't see much of any of all this. Mississippi State, hung in for a minute, and then that was it.
Yeah.
By a minute, I mean the first quarter.
Right. No, they're
Which is about expected, I guess. Is there
yes.
anything notable to mention how Georgia played or Mississippi State didn't play?
Georgia Mississippi State's not any good. We know this.
Right.
They're not any
That's
good.
the short long of it, isn't it?
And a noon game or 11 a.m. kick down there. There's no juice in the stadium at all, and Georgia just shows up. And one thing Georgia does, they even started slow this game, Delaney.
Yeah.
You're down 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. They've started slow. That's like 6 of 7 SEC games they started off behind, and they've won 6 of 7 of them. So it's like, golly, guys.
Is that going to catch up to you again? I mean,
it's got to drive Kirby Smart.
Right?
It's just got to drive Kirby Smart bananas. Watching them start off and not be focused, and then once they get hit a little bit and get kind of going, get a sweat going, then they get rolling. And
right,
while against Mississippi State and Stark Vegas, that's not going to matter. It will matter when you play teams that are way better, especially in the playoff, which is where they're going to get someone. You get behind a team like A&M, or you get behind a team like Alabama, like they already shown.
You
get behind a team that can match you offensively. Then that's going to be an issue. So
absolutely, yeah, we'll see. They got the one blemish that was that Georgia, the Alabama game where they were outscored all first. They kept Bama scoreless the second half, but then just didn't have enough juice to catch back up and take the lead. Ole Miss, nice spring game for them. Citadel. Now this is the next game. BYU travels to Texas Tech. I know I didn't. I pretty sure I picked BYU,
You did.
and I sure as hell didn't pick Texas Tech to win by 3 scores. If I did pick
No.
Texas Tech. And this game wasn't close, particularly close from the get-go. Just really, really surprising. Like, it just shows you, like, college football is just, and you could say about a lot of sports, NFL in particular, it's so unpredictable, and I guess that's part of the joy of it. If it were just obvious, then it would be not as fun to watch. But who saw this coming? Even a hardcore Texas Tech fan wasn't expecting they're going to win by 3 scores over the 7th-ranked team in the country.
That defense is absolutely stifling. When they are on,
Filthy.
I don't know of many I would take over in the country over that Texas Tech
No.
defense. They
They're
are
right
they
there.
are legit at every level. They cover, they rush the passer, they stop the run, they do everything great, everything. Now it's bought and paid for, so
Yes, it is.
but you got to pay the money to get the talent, and then you got to take the talent
Yes.
and mold it into something. And boy, that Texas staff, coaching staff has done that, man. They are legitimate. One quick
Yeah.
note, going back to Ole Miss Citadel. Best part about that game,
Oh yeah,
Lane Kiffin photobombing the wedding, the wedding proposal.
Yes, I did see that.
That's the greatest thing.
That's
So-
a Lane Kiffin thing.
It
isn't
sure
it?
is. But anyway, on this one, yeah, this surprised me. We were on this game. You were 0-3 picking this one,
Yeah.
Delaney. I was 1-2 just because I took Texas Tech, but we missed on.
You
We both
picked-
took the under, like a couple of
Under.
dummies. And,
Yeah, right.
and so, but yeah, that's I took BYU to cover the 10, and they did not.
Sure.
And so yeah, not much more to say. They are not a team you want to see first round in the playoff. Georgia
No.
does not want to have those guys coming to Athens to play them. They
No.
don't want that.
Hell no. But that
So,
would be. That's a kind of like I want to see that matchup, right?
Yes,
like,
me
that's
too.
That's not Boise State, Penn State, or that kind of. That's not a matchup that we could be excited
tell you
about.
what,
But this is a
that would-
legit Texas Tech team.
that would be a fun game. Texas Tech going to Georgia. I hope that happens. I think the more fun game of that one would be Texas Tech going to Oxford to play against that offense and Trinidad
Oh, boy.
Chambliss and that defense. I think watching those two go at it would be way more fun to watch than watching a fist fight that's 14-10 Texas Tech or Georgia
Until the
wins.
fourth quarter.
Is what that's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yes. Right. That's a good point. Yeah. Oh, you want to see some fireworks? All right. Well, that didn't eliminate BYU, but they're going to need some help if they're going to move forward.
one
yeah.
last
Mhm.
thing, and I just pulled out my paper here that I got my notes on. I try to put little nuggets in there. BYU first 9 drives. On the 9th drive, they're down 26-0. They have a 75-yard drive and a touchdown. The 8 drives before that, you ready? punt, missed field goal, punt, INT. 46 plays, 137 yards.
That's some more yards I anticipated, actually. But that's, wow.
3 of
Yeah.
14 on 3rd down for the game.
That's
So
going to lose you a lot of games.
Yeah.
It's certainly going to lose you when you can't stop anybody on the other side either. So, well, this one I know I missed. The Oregon travels to Voodoo City, Iowa City. I know I picked Iowa to win, and I had that sucker.
you
I
sure
had
did.
it.
You
I had it,
did.
and I was feeling good. So we'll start with the beginning. First of all, I'm glad I didn't go to the game because it was the rain was pouring down like sideways the entire game, and it's about 39 degrees. So while glad I didn't go to the game, when I was late in the game, I'm watching like, man, this would have been a great one to be at because it was electric there. Oregon goes in and figures out like this is how you play Big Ten football at Iowa. Yeah, you're up 2-0 after the first quarter.
Right.
That's what happens. And then
If
you're
you're
up
just-
12-7 at halftime.
if you're just watching the bottom of your screen, you'd swear that's baseball. Wait a minute. the hell's baseball
Absolutely,
doing on?
2-0, right? Oh, I thought the
Yeah.
series was over.
What the hell is
Right,
happening right here?
absolutely. No, it's
ESPN
either
dummies.
baseball series or yeah, someone messed up the thing on ESPN
Yep.
ticker or Iowa's playing. Those are the three
Yes.
options.
Those
And
two.
this time it was Iowa's playing. And so yeah, Iowa is I mean, they had this game, honestly. They're down
did.
12-7 at half. They got nothing in the third quarter. They get they get a they need to go 93 yards to take a lead on this game, which is like you might as well say it's 293 yards of the Iowa offense because they're just who they are. They just want to run the ball. They want to pass if they have to. They don't really want to do it then even. Um, I had the over under number of passes thrown by Iowa as 12 and a half. And maybe I said 13 and a half. This is just in my own head. And
Right.
by that time they were at 12 in the fourth quarter. So I was feeling pretty good. But then they Gronowski unloads a 40-yard bomb
Out of
from his
nowhere.
own 6-yard line.
Out of absolutely nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere. And then they go on and they get in the end zone and they missed a 2-point conversion, which was just razor thin margin there. Iowa fumbled the ball in the red zone too, the first half. So they had Oregon where they wanted them, and so much so that Oregon like that they were a bigger 10 team than Iowa is. They threw 2 passes in the second half until that last drive, and they were 0 for 2. And that's Dante Moore, who's a damn good quarterback.
Right.
And then they were able to make more through one. Gary Danielson nailed it. He said he didn't have a window to throw it to. He threw it through a porthole.
Right.
It was the most perfect pass, and that was this set Oregon up in field goal territory, and they got a little more centered and nailed it at the buzzer, basically. But yeah, Iowa had them on the ropes. They just couldn't quite make it happen. And I guess that's welcome to the Big Ten, Oregon officially now.
As a fight fan, as I am an MMA fan and stuff, there's a saying in fighting: it's styles make fights. And what
Okay.
that means is certain styles have a really good chance. No, you can't do. It's called college football math, MMA math, right? Just because style A
Right.
beats style B doesn't mean that style C beats style B, right? There's things.
Sure.
And
Right.
this is
Transitive property doesn't work. Yeah.
right. It does not work. And so
Exactly.
Iowa just has a style that's tough for people to deal with. They just are. They
Yeah.
drag you into their game and make you play their game. And they're
Yep.
really good at doing it. And they should be, because Kurt Ferentz has been doing it for 50-something years now at Iowa. So it's like they just really, and now he has the personnel, he has the roster to be able to just drag you and make it just a slow grinder football game. And that's how you got to beat them. And luckily for Indiana, luckily for Oregon, that's what they've been able to do. And so they've been able just to play that grinder of a game and get out of there with a win. And that's all they do is they just get the hell out with a win.
Just survive.
It's not
just
pretty.
survive.
Right. That's it. And just let's just get the hell on this plane out of Iowa City and go back, because this place sucks.
This place sucks. Why did we join this conference?
There was
it's a long flight.
Both teams were
cold and raining.
Both teams were a combined 8 of 23 on third down. There was 3 possessions total in the third quarter. Total.
Yeah.
In the third quarter.
No one wanted to be there.
No.
It's cold and wet.
And the fans didn't want to be there till they had a chance to win it. And like, okay, this is all worth it. This sitting in this 40-degree weather, getting rained on. I'm soaked. I'm cold. I'm probably going to have pneumonia tomorrow morning. But if we could pull this out, it's all worth it. And then you'll lose on top of all that. And so
right, exactly. Yeah, I was like, that was not worth it. I spent $160 on this ticket. And I got, I don't feel well now. I got to walk back to my car now. I got an hour walk back to my car. Whatever it is.
So it just hats off to Iowa. They do a good job of making you play their game.
Yes.
And they made Indiana play their game. They made Oregon play their game, and they've made what six other Big Ten, 6 other teams play their game, and they've won those games. So
they won those games. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They just
that's Oregon was able to run the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. 261 yards.
Oregon says, look, we could be a Big Ten team. We can run the ball. Whittington and Davison, those 2 running backs are studs, right? Oregon's problem that some of their wide receivers are hurt, so they end up having to run the ball more because one is miserable out,
right?
No receivers to throw the ball to, The one time he did throw the ball to, it was dropped the second half before that last drive. And then, Moore's a really damn good quarterback, so he's able to make some plays late, get them in the field goal range, and, the rest is history. But, Iowa played they like you said, they'll put you in a phone booth and they'll get you in a fight in the phone booth, and you just have to kind of scrap your way out of it. And
Right.
sometimes you can. You're going to come out with your hair pulled out, your eye scratched, and
Bite marks all over
a
you.
little embarrassed, bite
Yeah.
marks all over you. Yeah, but
AIDS.
but I was
Yeah.
AIDS. Yes, exactly. I was able to give AIDS. And I mean, they were able to get pressure regularly when they did drop back, but Oregon, that was really impressive by their running back, especially Whittington. Like they were able to run the ball and kind of control that. They averaged 7 yards a pop, which is pretty impressive against Iowa. So their Iowa played looked like to me a lot of 4-2-5. The nickel look most of the time, which is what you expect for Oregon. So when Oregon sees that matchup. All right, we got numbers in the box. They were able to run the ball a little bit more.
I always seemed like they were fine with that, though, right? They seemed like they were fine.
Yeah,
so we'll let them
absolutely.
run it. They'll run clock. We'll shorten the
Right.
game up. We won't let Dante Moore throw,
Absolutely.
make big explosive plays. They could hit us,
Yeah.
6, 8 yards at a time, 10 yards, whatever. We'll play. We'll try to get them stopped in the red zone, which they did for the most part.
They've got an interception too.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Try to get them stopped there, make them kick a few field goals. Maybe we can get out here with a win. So, that was. I said, hats off to Iowa. I said they were really good.
That they knew who they are. There's no doubt about who they are, right? That's who they are.
One last thing too, I'll say is not too long ago, that Oregon program don't go in and win that game. It's not that too long ago that they go in there. Dan Lanning has brought the culture enough to go in there and win that game at Iowa.
Absolutely.
That's an all Dan Lanning win right there, because he's rough and tumble and he's hard nosed, and that's what you got to be to go in and win that game against that Iowa team.
Absolutely. Yeah. So he wants to focus on football. I mean, on defense and run the football. I mean, that's what you need to beat Iowa, right? I mean, there's the general in the Big Ten, like, not that you can't, throw the ball everywhere, but, you need to be physical. You need to be, you're not going to just get a track meet most of the time. And you sure as hell not getting a track meet in Iowa. You're more likely to get ran over accidentally by a John Deere tractor.
I don't know that the Rams that won the Super Bowl would have went in there and scored more than 20 points.
Right. Absolutely right. And then they'd have turnovers, and Iowa would have two safeties and a 60-yard field. By the way, Iowa kicker hit a 58-yard field goal, by the way, as part of that in that game too.
And in those weather conditions, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Again, forward the whole time.
Yep.
So Oregon survives, and they're they have they got a couple tough games they got to play. SC, and they play Minnesota, so that's something they win. They got to play USC, and then they got to go at Washington. So I anticipate they'll take care of Minnesota, and who knows with USC? Probably USC has not been great on the road, but all the road games have been on the East Coast or in the middle of the country too. So there's that. Washington, total meltdown, lost in Madison to a terrible Wisconsin team. That's the most Jekyll and Hyde team I've ever seen, road versus home. Washington puts up 55 points at Illinois at home. Puts up 10 on the road to Wisconsin.
My gosh.
It was not a raucous night either. I mean, that's a bad loss. That's a Jed Fish. I'm not sure we can give you more money, or you don't have to worry about losing Jed Fish to somewhere else, because that's another loss of his that's like, dude. I don't know.
Now he's going to be looking at his cell phone like, why is someone calling me?
Right, exactly.
Dude, you went to Camp Randall and lost, man.
Yes, right. That's a team that no one thought would win another game this year, and you just handed them one. Their leading passer for Wisconsin, do you know who it was? They played 4 quarterbacks, sorta 3 quarterbacks and a punter. Their punter was the leading passer of one play fake punt for 24 yards. That was the leading passer. They had 48 or 58 yards passing for the game.
And won the game. Now, Luke Fickell should send Jed Fish a Christmas card. Thanks, man.
Yes,
appreciate
absolutely.
that.
Yes.
Here's a gift card to Chick-fil-A. Go get you a chicken sandwich. I appreciate you.
And Chris McIntosh, the AD at Wisconsin, is like, yes, see, gave it a vote of confidence. we're going to beat Washington now. Now, I
Yeah,
don't know if they're going to win another game the rest of the year, Wisconsin, that is, but I
probably
don't
not.
know. They gritted it out. They just can't keep quarterbacks healthy. If you're a quarterback and you think about going to Wisconsin, you might want to think about your career because maybe you'll do okay, but more than likely you're going to get hurt and miss most or all of a season. That's been the case for the last 4 years, and including the 3 guys hurt this year. So
Right.
keep that in mind. Um, Notre Dame, took care of business. We were wrong. I know I was wrong
Oh
about
boy.
Navy covering that 25, and that was that was no problem for Notre Dame.
Yeah, we totally
Um,
missed it. I don't even think I had that on here to be honest with you. I think we just kind of hosed over it, but I didn't have it
we
on the
just, oh no,
list.
yeah. I know it was 25, or maybe 26,
Yeah.
25 and a half, because I think Navy could hang in there. They did a little bit, well, the first quarter, I guess, actually, and then from there. But Virginia takes another bad loss, or their first
With
loss
a
in the conference. 16-9 lost to Wake Forest
Yep,
at
and
home
they
in Charlottesville.
Virginia was the 11th seed in the playoff bracket. They will not be that come tomorrow night.
They will not. No, they will not. Part of the problem, Taylor Morris got hurt. And so that they were really not able to move the ball much after then. And obviously, evidenced by the 9 total points they had, they ran the ball pretty well, 5.5 yards a pop. There's nothing special that Wake did, right? They just mostly took care of the ball and opportunistic. But yeah, that sort of pushes Virginia to the maybe next time, maybe next year.
ACC is only going to get one team in, ain't they? I mean, I
It's
think it's
looking
pretty much
that
set in
way. And
stone. Whoever wins the ACC
if they
championship game is going to go. That's it.
right, that's it. That's it. Because Louisville said, "Hey, we're also going to blow it
Right.
an
Right.
opportunity."
Yep.
To Cal, and a pretty mediocre Cal team in Louisville, 29-26 final in overtime. It's a good game to watch, but not unless you're a Louisville fan.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. You can't those are the games you can't lose if you're going to try to get in the playoff, and if you're going to try to get an at-large bid or something like that. You can't drop these games. If you're Virginia, if you're Louisville, you just, like in Miami has dropped games. You just can't drop these games if
Right.
you're going to if you're going to lose. Those losses have to be against good teams. You can't lose to
Yes.
mediocre, 6-7 win teams. That's not going to get you in at the end of the
Right.
year.
Absolutely. Yeah, Georgia's fine. They lose to Bama. Bama's sitting there one of
Yes.
the best 4 or 5 teams in the country. That's a good loss if there is such a thing. One team that did not lose, but they sure do their damn best. That was Vandy. I don't know what happened to Auburn's offense, but they somehow figured out how to put 38 points after Hugh Freeze gets fired. I'm not sure what to make of that. Isn't he the offensive genius that they couldn't move the ball for most of the season? He steps out. 5 days later, they put up 38 on a pretty good Vandy team.
They should have went to Daniels early in the year when Jackson Arnold was sucky and couldn't get it done. But Hugh Freeze was married to Jackson Arnold, and Jackson Arnold was married to Hugh Freeze. They paid him money to come from Oklahoma into there, thinking that's going to be our quarterback, and that just was, they never meshed. And instead of pulling the plug and getting Daniels, who's a transfer in there, who's got some experience and can run around, which you needed at Auburn because our offensive line sucks, Daniels don't get sacked 10 times at Oklahoma because the kid can run. He can flat run. And for whatever reason, Hugh Freeze just, nope, not going to do it. He's our guy. Well, Hugh Freeze is fired. Daniels comes in, and yet another game of, we're going to try to go in and ruin Vanderbilt's season. We're going to give them our best shot. We're going to try to ruin these guys' season because they're on a trajectory of the playoff if they win out. For who would ever thought Vanderbilt would be in the playoff? So let's go in and ruin it in Nashville. And that's why you get a good Auburn. You get a good Auburn effort who's not beaten a ranked team on the road since September 21st, 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they've been wandering in the desert for a little while now. I don't anticipate that's going to change unless they hit a home run. But they better hit quite the home run because they have still fight against the Bama and Georgia and Tennessee. Like, you got a lot to sort out there. Not to mention A&M and the list goes on. But one thing we could talk about is Cam Coleman is Superman reincarnated catching the ball.
Catches.
Like, that's 2 of the best back-to-back catches you're ever going to see. A one-handed catch with hit. I don't know how he even saw the ball, and then the one back shoulder one-handed grab. He looked like Jeremiah Smith kind of catches, like just easy peasy, nothing to it. He's a dog, and I'm hoping that Michigan throws him about $50 million and hit the portal. He hits the portal next year.
I can see him hitting the portal. I don't see him leaving the South,
Yeah,
but I see him hitting the portal for sure.
right,
Because I don't know why you would stay there if you're Cam Coleman. Go play for
right.
I hope he does it, but go play for Lane Kiffin at Florida if he goes there, right? Or go
Wow.
to Georgia or go to Alabama where you're gonna get paid and you're gonna make some money. You don't leave the South.
Right.
So he doesn't seem like a kid that would leave, but who knows? I mean that
Depends who they hire too, I guess. So
exactly, yeah, for sure. I mean they could knock it out of the park. And if you're the coach, the first person you go to their door and knock on is Cam Coleman. That's the first
yes,
person you need to
absolutely.
stay, and then
Yep.
see what you can do from there for that roster. But yeah, that was I said a heck of an effort by Auburn. I was surprised. Vandy was down in that game most of that game, and then tied it up
Yeah.
at the end, got the lead a little bit. Then Auburn tied it with Coleman. He scores a touchdown with his left hand one-handed, and then scores a 2-point conversion with his right hand one-handed.
It's the right hand.
And
Right.
and they just fought, but they just Diego Pavia, like we were doing our picture of the
400,
game.
almost 500 yards total.
I believe in that
Four
kid.
touchdowns.
I believe in him.
Yeah.
If it comes down
He's a
to it,
dog.
he's a winner. He's going to win the game.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right though. Daniels had 440 total yards and 4 touchdowns. Like if you're an Auburn fans, like we put up 3 against Kentucky at home. We put up 48 or 38 the next day. I know it's like each game is its own game, its own little thing, but that sort of is like if you're the AD at Auburn, you're thinking like, okay, we made the right decision to move on from Freeze. Immediately, we see results, not a win necessarily, but we see some improvement in some life in the program. Now, still an L, but which you're probably not going to hit a bowl game because you're not going to hit that 6 wins unlikely.
No.
But yeah, that was just that was necessary evil. And if you're an Auburn fan, you're like, man, if we done this weeks ago, who knows, right? I mean, not saying they're going to be undefeated, but you're right. They could have put up a better fight against Oklahoma for starters. Saying they're going to win, but like they're not going to get sacked 10 times or whatever it was.
I can't
It's Auburn's, yeah,
I can't explain how, and who knows why it happens, but it's like we've said before, you never get the same team twice. We've said it so much, it's almost cliche, but it's just true. These kids have so much going on, you don't get the same effort every week. They're tired
No.
of all the hoopla with Hugh Freeze. They're going to Kentucky.
Right.
They're just not interested in being in that ball game, which was clearly the case on the field. They didn't want to be there playing that
Right.
game because they knew
No.
they probably already knew the writing was on the wall. Freeze was gone, so they finally
Yep.
fire him after that game. They get a week to prepare. Okay, that's over. Let's get going. What's done is done now instead of it hanging over our heads. And they go in against a much more physical defense than they seen the week before and put
Yeah.
up 38 points. And they could
They
only muster 3
push
the
'em
week before
around.
against a Kentucky defense that will let you ole all the live long day. So
all day. Yep. They play Mercer this weekend, so you're likely to get a win there. Then they play Bama at home, which is, although he's speaking of voodoo, Nick Saban said there's some sort of voodoo there in the plains, like when he was a coach there. But I anticipate Kalen DeBoer is not going to have any trouble this year. Now, who knows? Like maybe Daniels is, puts up they put up get to, an Iowa kind of rock fight, and things get crazy in rivalry games. But
yep.
Looks
Wouldn't that
like
be something?
Auburn's probably going to miss a bowl game. That would be very something to see that. And this college football season,
Hey,
I don't know if that'd be that shocking.
no,
Would it?
it sucked for our home picks though. But
Yes,
at
it
this
would.
point,
Yes,
who cares
it
about
would. It
those?
was over our home books. Yeah. Yeah, we're not making any money this year.
No.
Yeah, we're not making money. Miami beats a terrible Syracuse team. That's this.
Yeah.
Fran Brown was the guy who early on was like, maybe it's a guy who can go to Penn State. He's got a fire in his belly, and you gotta. Yeah, they've lost 6 games out of 7 in the conference, and they're a clown show. And then we talked about Washington scoring a measly 10 points against a really bad Wisconsin team. The only other game we need to talk about, I think,
Yep.
that I almost is the one that's going to make you feel You're really going to be excited about talking about this one.
Makes me feel
And
kind of funny, like when we used to climb the rope in gym class.
that would be Kentucky 38, Florida 7. And was that just like one of the funniest things you ever seen?
It is, but if you listen to this show, what did I say? Florida is a soft football
It's a
team.
soft team.
They're a soft
Right.
football team, and they shot their wad against Georgia last Saturday, trying to ruin Georgia.
Yep.
You got a much better Florida effort because they're trying to ruin Georgia's season, putting an L on Georgia. They don't do that.
Right.
They get beat 24-20, and they put up a good fight. But Lagway is Lagway, and then that Florida team didn't want to be. They didn't want to be at Kroger Field any more than I wanted to be up there a few years ago watching it. But you know, I want to try to go to all the stadiums, so I got to go up there eventually anyway. So I might as well go.
Right,
but
just get it out of the way, right? Yeah.
And it was never in doubt, Delaney. I mean, first quarter 7-3, but once Kentucky figured it out and they scored a couple of touchdowns, Florida flat out quit. They quit. They benched Lagway, and I don't know if I'm still going to predict us to win in a few weeks down in the swamp, but I tell you, if Tennessee can't go down and beat this Florida team in the swamp since 2003, they will never win down there ever. The rest of
exactly. Right.
My life or Shelby's life and Shelby's kids' life and go on down through generations. Right. They will never win there if they can't beat this Florida team.
Yeah, this is a bad Florida team. And, you know, they have a tough schedule, but
they go to Ole Miss
DJ
next Saturday.
They get, oh, Jesus.
They go to Ole Miss next Saturday night.
I guess that's right. I did see that the Florida State game is going to be played on the WB network at 6 a.m. So
for sure, yeah,
no one's going to watch that on Tuesday, 6 a.m. on Tuesday,
followed by One Tree Hill.
Right? Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle reruns, and
yes,
it's not even like Seinfeld or something good, like something awful.
No,
Lagway's not a good quarterback. I'm comfortable saying that at this point. He has, you know, fine arm talents. So is Joe Milton, you know. So a lot of guys have good arm talent. Some guys he's built solidly, but he's not a good quarterback. Like, he just makes terrible decisions over and over again. That's another 3 interceptions this game. He had one against LSU, he had 4 or 5 that game. Like, this is who he is. And this is with or without Billy Napier. DJ Lagway's a pretty mediocre at best quarterback. And so, unless he resurrects somewhere else, I just don't know.
Well,
what else you're going to get out of him?
We got an old man at work, and he's retired, old Air Force veteran, and loves Tennessee football, but he's only there for like half a day. He's an old guy, and you know, he's just and he says, nothing made me happier than watching Florida lose after Vanderbilt winning, because he hates Vanderbilt. He's an old timer. He hates Vanderbilt. That's his whole thing.
Okay,
he hates Vanderbilt with the passion of 1,000 suns. hates Vanderbilt. And he's like, well, that made my day better watching Florida get beat like that. I said, John, I'll tell you what. You're going to think I'm crazy, and this is a hot take, but what I could easily see happening is I watched Josh Heupel get Hendon Hooker drafted. I watched Josh Heupel get 9 wins out of Joe Milton. I watched it happen.
Yes.
You have a redshirt freshman in George McIntyre on over there. You got a guy that's Jake Merklinger, who's going to transfer out probably. And then you have Faison Brandon coming in, who is a true freshman. That's your quarterback room next year. You're going to have to hit the portal. And I would not be surprised to see Josh Heupel take DJ Lagway next year and win 8, 9, 10 ball games with him. And get that kid drafted. It just would not surprise me if that happened. Now, I predicted Miami early in the year.
Interesting.
And that could still happen.
Yes,
he can still go to Core Gables.
That could still happen. They still need a quarterback next year. Yeah.
But if you're Lagway,
that's an interesting thought.
Yes, if you're a Lagway, and you know you're not going to stay unless they hire Kiffin. They hire Kiffin, Lagway is going to be there.
I was just saying, it didn't all. He ain't going anywhere. No,
and you wouldn't.
That's
and I wouldn't blame him for
obvious.
that.
No, seriously. Absolutely.
But let's say LSU outbids him, or let's say he stays in Mississippi State or Ole Miss, or whatever the case is. You know, say he goes to Florida State, whatever. Let's just say he don't end up in Gainesville, and they have to go with somebody else. And let's face it, for Florida, it's Lane Kiffin or bust.
Yeah, right. It is.
It really is.
Right. I mean,
it's so anyone other than Lane Kiffin, the Florida fan base, and everyone's going to be disappointed, point blank. So if they don't hire Lane Kiffin, and Lagway decides, you know what, I'm going to look around Everyone could pay him. He's going to end up in either Miami, which is my prediction still, but that wouldn't shock
Sure.
me at all to see him in a Tennessee uniform. If you've been watching transfers for the last 5 years, going to Josh Heupel and having killer Joey touchdowns this year. Took a guy that
Yes.
played at App State and didn't have any scholarships, and he's going to win probably 9-10 games with that kid. You'd be 9-3, win your bowl
Yes.
game, you're 10-3.
Yeah.
With
Yep.
a guy that wouldn't even sniff a scholarship when he come out of high school. Just saying.
No, right, exactly. Right.
Just saying. Don't be surprised.
Interesting thought, right? Yeah. Yeah, you think Florida fans are going to just kidnap Kiffin after the game? And
I can see.
you ain't going anywhere? Or what?
I can see. Was it who is their AD at Florida? But going over to Kiffin and handing him a check and then pulling him onto the bus
Oh,
with him
yeah.
when they go to the head to airport. So
What's his name? Scott Strickland or something?
yes, that's it. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, yeah. Hey, while you're in town here, can I
Yeah.
take you out to dinner? Well, we got to get back on the plane. No. We'll get you back eventually.
There's an Applebee's right down the
Hey,
road.
bring your. That'd be great. All right. Well, we hit all the big games and then the hilarious games like this 38-7. But we didn't, and we kind of gave some teasers throughout there. But how did we do on our picks this week?
Well, let me tell you something. Well, first off, before we do that, low key, basketball season kicked off. I guess tipped off would be the word. I'm trying to find the notes here I
Yes.
had on it. So big Tuesdays tomorrow night. So if you're a basketball fan, which I know some people that watch us are, especially guys that I work with, big basketball fans.
Yep.
Kentucky at Louisville in the Yum Center, big game. Illinois hosts Texas Tech in Champaign. Huge game, going to be a good game. And then the
Big battle.
nightcap at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, Gonzaga hosts Creighton. All three ranked games. That's a pretty decent slate this early in the year. Tennessee's
Absolutely,
playing Mercer and playing Tennessee Tech and crap
Right.
like that.
Yeah, Michigan played Oakland and
Yes. Kentucky going to Louisville tomorrow night. That's going to be a fun one. So if you ain't got
that's a
anything to
must
do,
watch. Yep.
tune in for that. That's going to be good. So, all right. Our
Here's
picks.
how I think about before you get there. I just have
Okay.
one thought about college basketball. I thought about this the other day, and I meant to tell you before our last show. College football, we're like from basically spring practice end until August 30th, whatever the first game is. We're like, oh, college football countdown. College football can't wait. 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 1 week, and then we're like, and all of a sudden, college basketball's like, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from?
They burst through like a Kramer on Seinfeld, don't they?
Right?
They come through the door like Kramer on
Hey, buddy.
Seinfeld.
Hey, buddy.
Giddy up.
Giddy up. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. I'm watching Louisville, Kentucky tomorrow then, I guess.
Yep. All of a sudden, they're rummaging
I-
through your
I-
cabinets and they're in your refrigerator.
I guess it's better than watching, Miami, Ohio, and Toledo play on a Tuesday night.
Sure. Yeah, those
Football
when it
game.
comes when it comes to college football, I love it as much as anybody loves college
Yes.
football. But give me those 3 games on TV way over, Miami of Ohio
Some
versus
action.
something. Yeah, I don't not
Matching, I love
care.
that.
Yeah, I will watch Kentucky, and I don't care who wins that game. Actually, no, I do. I
Right.
hope Louisville beats Kentucky's ass because I'm
Right.
not a Kentucky
course,
basketball
Tennessee
fan,
guy.
right? So, I mean, I care,
right.
but if Kentucky wins, I'm like, meh, okay.
Okay, it's one game early.
Yeah, right. And it's college basketball. Everybody loses. It's just part of the deal. But you will, I'll sit and I'll watch those games. I'll be in front of the TV tomorrow night. I mean, unless we decide we're doing this again tomorrow night, then I'll be in front of that game because it tips off at 8. That's go
Sure.
to bed,
Yeah.
in bed by 10:30 and watch one hell of a basketball game.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the nitty gritty, the picks,
Yeah.
as
So-
they say. So we do straight up,
Yep.
we do over under, and we do spread.
Yes.
And then we'll talk about the other one, but we have SEC home team picks going, which is not going well, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. What is going well, if you listened to the show before and we previewed this past weekend, if you made bets like we said there was 9 games, a total of 27 picks. You made some serious dough, my friends. Made some serious dough. So, and we've been about 50% all year, right? We've been about 50,
Yeah.
a little over, a little under, a game or two, our pick of two the whole way through the year.
Right.
This, I don't know what we did. I don't know how we did it, to be honest with you, because hell, if we know what the hell's going to happen, but we sure did this weekend.
Right.
Right. 27 picks total. Delaney, you went 17 and 10.
That's okay.
Yep. I went 20 and 7.
Oh my God. Wow.
Right? That's serious right there. And we didn't make a single dime on that at all. But
No. Right.
I'll tell you what, next year I might start. We'll see. We'll see.
Just dabble just a little bit.
It's just
Right.
maybe just a little bit, and see how we can do. Because a weekend like that make you feel really good. Make you feel really good.
But that's a weekend where you're like, man, I'm just gonna bet like $2 a game. That's it.
Right.
And that's when you could have made a
These
few
smoke
thousand.
grasses. That's right. Yeah. So speaking of real money.
Yeah. Real money, yes.
Yeah, here comes the real money.
Real money. Not
when we dream about spending money, we go 21-7 and 17-10. When we actually spend money, we go.
I want to recap as the folks who maybe not watched the show before, give them a quick recap of what this is, our science experiment, if you will.
So what we do is before the season started, I went back on ChatGPT is what I used. What's the winning percentage of SEC home teams on their home field over the last 5 years? I included Oklahoma, Texas, even though they've only been in the league for a few years now. The number was 70%, just over 70% of home teams always win on their home field. So $147 we start. And so I start betting on each team, each home team only, money line, every week. We got as high as a few $100, like well over $200. Midway through the year, we were clipping it down about 80%, low 80s, like it was rolling. And we were like, man, this is actually working out. Well,
this is working.
It was. And so what we figured out now is there's a reason why everyone on the planet don't just bet this and win all the money. Because the underdogs don't do their part of the 70%. They don't pull their weight when it comes to it.
Right.
The favorites seem to do a good job. 4 weeks ago, it was a eight game weekend. We go 50-50, and that's where it started going down. 50-50. The home favorites won, the home underdogs all lost. The next week we go 1-4 with only 5 games. Vanderbilt somehow or another saves the bank account.
No one's ever said that before.
No one. And then the following week we go 2-3, so we get a little bit of money back. That brings us to this weekend, where there was 5 games again. We go 3-2. Kentucky beats Florida, Bama beats LSU, Vanderbilt beats Auburn. So 3-2. I was only able to bet $3 a game because we were all the way down to $18.51 entering the weekend. 35-22 for the year to date. Going in this weekend, 61.4% winning percentage, minus $128.49. So 1851 going into the weekend. We bet $3 a game. We win 3. We lose Missouri A&M, Mississippi State, and Georgia. We kind of predicted that. If you look at remember last show,
we think you nailed all those.
Yeah, we're staring down the barrel of 3-2 this weekend. It just felt like it, and so that's where we landed. Right. So 3-2 is 60%. So overall, we only lost 10 cents. So now we have $18, or sorry, we lost 10 cents, but we're now sitting at $18.49. We're down 2 pennies over the course of the year now. 38-24 is the record, 61.3%, down from 61.4 last weekend. So now we have $18.49 in the bank. I've already made next week's picks at $3 a game. I think there is 6 games.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 because there's one we couldn't bet on. I forget which one it was, but yeah, so 6 games.
It's probably Auburn Mercer.
It was it was Tennessee and New Mexico. They wouldn't let you bet that.
Oh, Mexico, sure. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So he wouldn't let bet that. So everything else I think was on the table. I don't think Auburn. If it's Auburn Mercer, I don't think they were able to either.
They probably sure.
But I was able to bet on like 6 or something like that. So 6 games, $18 total. So those are already locked in. We'll talk about those for the preview show here, and either tomorrow or on Wednesday, whenever we decide we're going to do it. And then see if we can end the year and try to get this thing back up close to 70% if we can, to see if the math holds. But the money is already probably not going to hold. That's
way gone.
Yeah, there's a reason why that there's a city in the desert, and if old Chris in East Tennessee knows this math, I assume others do, and there's a reason why they don't just do this every year and win a lot of money. So
right, you don't think some guy from MIT had sorted this out a long time ago or something?
I believe, yeah, right. I mean, the guys over there are like building all sorts of cool stuff and inventing Facebook. Yeah, and
right, yes, exactly, right.
And here I am, high school educated and could figure it out. I'm sure they probably did. And then they quickly realized, well, that's not going to hold up over a year. You could bet $1 million and win $2 million every single year. Everyone would be doing it who had $1 million.
Never do that, right? Exactly. Why wouldn't you?
So,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So. Yeah, we had no luck with the home dogs. Like, we had a few on the ropes. We had like South Carolina had Alabama on the ropes. I would have won us about $100 just that game alone. And we almost cashed out, didn't we? We
almost
said,
did.
Science is science. We got to stick with it.
Yep. Trust the science.
We should have just said no science. Hell with it.
Science.
We're going to keep this
just take
$90.
the money. Right. Yeah. The $90 is worth way more than the science.
I'm like, I think South Carolina's going to hang in this too. Hang in there. Let's just let it ride, baby. That was the dumbest thing.
Well, a lot had to happen. Now, I mean, and in reality, there's a reason why they're offering you $70 out now instead of you staying in and winning $90. And a lot had to go Alabama's way for them to win that game. They had to drive the ball the length of the field, score a touchdown. Then they had to get a 2-point conversion. Then they had to punt the ball or kick the ball off. Then they had to get the ball back. And then they had to drive the ball again to get in field goal range, try to score and win it or go into overtime. That's a lot that has to happen right in the back half or back third of the fourth quarter. So they're offering you that money. That way they ain't got to pay you $90. And then I'll be damned if Alabama don't just do Alabama things, And
South Carolina does their own thing.
Yes. Yep.
And that's why you are who you are. Yeah. Well, so it's been a fun experiment. Like, we'll try it again next year. Maybe do some tweaking of some things so that we got some new data that we'll have data points to go with too. And
we're going to do records of all home underdogs and all home favorites. And we're going to record that as well. So we want to have our overall record. We're going to have our home favorite record. We're going to have our home underdog record, and we're going to get even more together. And who knows? As soon as I don't bet next year and do this again, there'll be so many home underdogs win, and it's happening more and more because of parity in college football. So
absolutely right. No, we should have seen more and more of these. We just picked the wrong year to start expecting it to happen to win, because the games are close. Obviously, like Bama needed a miraculous, but a tough comeback to beat a bad South Carolina team. These games are right there. So that's going to eventually flip in our favor. And if we're consistent, we're eventually going to get it right. You hit that 70%. That's eventually going to pay off.
The thing is, we're already minus $147 overall going into next year. So you got to win twice as much money to even break even. So
right, exactly, right. Yeah. Oh well. As a Cubs fan say, maybe next year.
Maybe next year. That's what Tennessee football fans say too.
Maybe next year. Right. Yep. All right. Well, that's the review, episode 12.1, review of Week 11. We'll be back with you in a day or so to preview Week 12. Some good games coming up, and then the following week, you got rivalry week, big time. You got Michigan, Ohio State, you got Florida, Tennessee, you got all these games that are. Oh, that's actually 2 weeks, I guess. But Florida, Tennessee, the following week, though. Yeah. So I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit. Getting excited. Okay, well, folks, that's it. This is the end of this show. We only did an hour and 10 minutes. That's pretty good for us.
Hey,
it's quite good. Actually,
I just seen that. Yeah, holy cow.
Yeah, right. Right. So that is Chris. I am Brian. This is Healthy Know Podcast, and we'll talk to you soon.